Hello everyone! If you're familiar with my X playthrough series on Twitch, you may have seen me pull off a cheeky little exploit, or you might have noticed that I ended the stream on episode 30 with barely anything, and came back in episode 31 with just shy of 900 million credits. How, you may ask? Well, in this video, I will be sharing with you an exploit that will help you make hundreds of millions of credits in the game using a simple glitch. This exploit revolves around the transfer of items from one ship to another and can be easily used to clone any item you want. I should point out that I didn't discover this exploit and it's fairly well known providing you know where to look. I'm just documenting it and providing a light-hearted tutorial. So without further ado, let's get started. Step 1. Preparation. What you will need. To execute this exploit, you'll need two ships that belong to you. For the purposes of this demonstration, I will use two TS class Mercury haulers, but really you can use anything. Just make sure that at least one of them is a TS or a TL. I would say that you only need to buy the S variant of this, and even then sell back the 1 megawatt shield, as ultimately it can end up getting in the way of what you're trying to do. Unless of course the 1 megawatt shield is what you're trying to clone. Sometimes you can get very lucky and find someone selling a TS for cheap. You can use this instead. Although I personally recommend having a TS and a TL. If you can't afford a TL yet, don't worry, you'll be able to afford one very soon. And if you can't really afford a TS ship either, sometimes you can get one in certain missions if the pilot bails, but it shouldn't be too difficult to raise the money required for this. You will also need an item for which you want to clone. This can be a photon pulse cannon, phase shockwave generator, or concussion impulse generator, and so on. In reality, it can be anything you like, but for maximum effect, I would recommend doing this outside of an equipment dock that doesn't stock what you're trying to duplicate, because when you dock with a ship that has the item it doesn't sell, you'll be able to sell it to the station constantly without having to worry about stock. Next, you'll need as many impulse ray emitters as you can get your hands on. The more, the better. It needs to be something that goes at the bottom of the list, and IREs usually sit at the bottom and take up very little space of cargo. Next, on one of your ships, you'll need a transporter device, which you can get one from TerraCorp HQ in the Home of Light system. These usually cost somewhere between 53,327 credits to 58,940 credits. There are a few other places that you can get them, such as the John Foucault HQ in the Belt of Aguilar system, but you might need to look around for them. Lastly, you'll need a freight drone, which you can purchase from a drone factory like the one in Atreus' Clouds. These can cost anywhere between 19,669 credits, nice, to 34,219 credits. With your setup complete, let's move on to the next step. Step 2. Executing the exploit. Firstly, ensure that your additional vessel, which in my case is the Clone Wares number 2, is equipped with the necessary freight drones. It is not mandatory to have as many as I do, but do note that they tend to last approximately an hour in space before wearing out and taking away your goods along with them. Thus, keep this factor in mind. It would be preferable if the cargo hold of the ship contains only the required items, as in nothing else at all. You'll want to make sure that it's a reasonable distance away from you, Not so far that it is out of range of the transporter device, but not too close. I find that 2 to 4 kilometers works best. For the duplication process, ensure that the main ship you're using, in my scenario, the clone wears number 1, has the object you wish to be cloned positioned above the object with the numerical value you desire to duplicate the item by. In this case, I have a concussion impulse generator above 330 impulse ray emitters. Additionally, under the installed ship extensions category, make sure that there is a transporter device present, and whilst it's not mandatory, I suggest utilising the Singularity Engine Time Accelerator, abbreviated as SETA, as it may take multiple attempts for the drone to return to the other ship. I would also recommend parking yourself near to, but not too close, to an equipment dock, one that doesn't sell what you're trying to duplicate, because even though they don't sell it, they will most certainly buy it. Following this, the next step is to deploy the freighter drone from the secondary ship, and then exit the menus. After you've done this, set the drone as a target, access the command console by pressing C, and navigate to the trade section followed by Fetch Freight. Then choose Select Ship, and pick your current ship. Select the item that you wish to clone and specify a quantity of 1. As the drone approaches and retrieves the concussion impulse generator, exit all menus, retarget the second ship, and initiate a freight exchange with the target ship by utilising the transporter device. Prepare to transport all of your impulse ray emitters to the secondary ship, and wait for the drone to deliver the concussion impulse generator before pressing enter or the return key on your keyboard. After the drone successfully returns to ship 2, press the enter or return key and voila, the item will now be cloned. In our case, we were able to create 299 concussion impulse generators from thin air, while keeping 330 impulse ray emitters on the other ship. Transfer 1 concussion impulse generator back to the primary ship, and command the second ship to dock with the equipment dock, then sell all of the items back to the station. To do it remotely, you may need a trade system extension. The reason why we were only able to obtain 299 concussion impulse generators as opposed to 330 is because of the limited storage of the second ship. To overcome this constraint, it is advisable to acquire a larger vessel such as a TL for your secondary ship. With the newfound get-rich-quick scheme, you will be able to afford it in a short amount of time. Now you can buy all the destroyers you want. The conclusion. And there you have it, folks. Using this simple exploit, you can clone any item you want and make hundreds of millions of credits in X3 Terran Conflict. Why work hard for your credits when you can just clone them? It's like printing money but with spaceships. It doesn't need to be a second job. If you desire to incorporate some in-game lore to explain the phenomenon, you may consider the quantum nature of the transporter device or some similar concept. However, the specifics of the lore is going to be largely up to your imagination. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please like and subscribe to this channel for more content. And if you'd like to, I stream on Twitch, the link is in the description. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep being awesome.